Well, I mean, I've been a Chevy guy forever.
Same.
You know, and I love Chevrolet. I think it's a fantastic company. I love their products. I love everything about it. But then now that I'm going into the BMW side, and I'm just like, man, we dropped the ball.
I think
bad.
To touch on the V2 again, I think the Gen 2 CTS-V was peak Chevy on the simplicity, the build, the car itself. I don't think, yes, they have better cars now, but I think they peaked on everything on that car, and then some things have fallen off.
Dollar for mod, and stand by it. There is no better GM car than a V2.
Yes.
I mean, take my wife's car, for example. You know, stock diff, stock drive shaft, stock axles, a shaft in the trans, but stock clutches, a rod and piston motor, 4,500 pounds, and it run 850 at 165 with a terrible 60-foot because we were fighting getting off the line. I mean, all that stock component and stock suspension.
Yep.
You know, because the mag ride,
it doesn't make sense.
And we beat that car.
And I'm not
heavily.
just saying that because I have one in my garage.
Right. Well, because you've got everything. You got import and domestic in one.
Yeah, but I have a V2, so I'm not just saying that because I have a V2.
But, I mean, you can't argue it, though.
They are just that good.
Cast iron diff. The axles are really good. The only issue we had with the axles, was leaving in first. If that boost came in too fast on the 1-2 shift, it was,
But even as far as, like, comparatively to the V3, simplicity on the tuning side and the modification side, you don't have to deal with direct injection. You don't have to put, like, all kinds of bullshit there. Like, you just put bigger injectors in it. You just simply do it. You start to lose that on the V3.
Well, the V3 having the LT motor and the direct injection, far superior.
Yes.
The issue, for some reason, becomes there's something in that platform, and I still don't really know what it is, that they're just not fast compared to like what you do to a V2. An 800 horsepower V2 is going to run, mid-low nines. An 800 horsepower V3 is going to run like a 990.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
It's weird, and they're not heavier. They're 4,200 pounds. So they're 200 pounds lighter. I'm not sure. They're doing some 10-speed swaps now, and I think that might be it.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it's like they made a really nice chassis. It's a beautiful car, but they just missed the mark where the V2 just solidified it.
Yeah, but even like the LSA ZL1 at the time, like it's kind of faded into oblivion a little bit.
Well,
maybe they didn't make enough.
So we go to all these Cadillac Attack event, right? The one here.
Yeah.
And ZL1s are allowed.
Great event.
But mod for mod, they get destroyed. And I don't know why.
Like the same build across the board. They're the same trans, same engine, same everything.
They're always slower by a lot. People ask me, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know the answer to give you because to me it doesn't make sense. I mean, we're talking the same diff ratio, similar size chassis. It's not like one's a lot shorter or one's a lot longer, and I'm pretty certain the Cadillac's even heavier. But they're always faster.
I would hope it's heavier.
Right? But with GM, you never know.
Yeah, I would hope that like their pinnacle sports car, whatever muscle car at the time was lighter than what Cadillac could do. It's almost like one of those things like Chevy in itself at the time was probably not happy that, Camaro engineers were probably not happy with the V2 because they were like, you kind of took our thunder.
It's kind of like back in the day with the Corvette and the Grand National.
Exactly.
They were like, oh, did we do that? Damn.
Yeah.
But
they weren't able to ruin them in any way.
Right.
In the Grand National, they were able to kind of they were kind of fake it a little bit.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird how that worked out. And I may be hyping up the CTS-V here, but they really deserve their credit.
But I mean, what other car can you do, the little mods to that are going to run like that? And not only run like that, they're going to run like that forever.
Yeah.
Again, my wife's car, 1,400 horsepower car, there's almost 40,000 miles on that build. How? What other car does that?
Especially now when you look at current market prices on them and they're like
that
25 to like 40 for like a really nice one. And
that's where the community went, I think.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as they dipped under 20s, and I even said that. I said, as soon as they dip under 20s, I'm going to move forward. and I don't want to because I love V2. I stayed with them for about 5 years. I mean, obviously I tuned a lot of other stuff at the same time, but when it came to that chassis, that's what I did. And as soon as it dipped under 20, I started looking into the Gen 5 stuff a little harder because I had been doing some Gen 5, but I never really pushed on that platform because it was super complicated, and I felt like they were already doing pretty well. Didn't realize how much was left on the table at that point. But once I did that, I'm like, maybe 2-3 months later, after seeing a bunch of them in the 20s, you just saw the community degrade.
Yeah.
Everybody has their homie of the week kind of deal.
Yep.
And it doesn't. I remember back when you go to the track and whoever's winning, that's the guy on top. Now it's like if he's your buddy, that's the guy. I'm like, well, where are the cars at the track? Well, that doesn't really matter. I'm like, kind of.
Yeah, I mean,
it kind of does.
I think, time slips are pretty important, in my opinion, or at least dyno numbers, at the bare minimum.
And lately it's not. It's so weird. It's such a weird world now that I guess I'm getting old now.
The sound of the cam is what puts you on top, maybe.
And the worst thing is, I've always said this from the jump, was if it chops hard, it's slow.